What I saw in the laundry room. This is my first time posting something like this, so bear with me. Even now, my hands are still shaking a little as I type this. This happened last winter in Brooklyn. I'd moved into an old apartment building, one of those pre-war ones with cracked brick walls, noisy radiators, and paper-thin floors. It wasn't pretty, but the rent was cheap, and in New York, that's enough. The laundry room was in the basement, tucked behind a rusted steel door. You had to go down a narrow stairwell to get to it. Even during the day, the place felt wrong. Dim lights, moldy smell, peeling concrete. There was this ancient wooden bench in the corner that looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. Anyway, it was late February, around 11:30 p.m. I had no clean clothes, so I finally gave in and dragged myself down there for a quick wash. Started the washer, went back upstairs, and returned about 40 minutes later to move everything into the dryer. As soon as I stepped into the laundry room, something felt off. One of the dryer doors was wide open, but the machine was empty. I hadn't used it yet. Still, maybe someone had used it earlier? Then I noticed the smell. It wasn't detergent. It wasn't mildew. It was something else. Thick, stale, like whetstone and decaying wood. There was this faint metallic tinge to it too, like rusted pipes or old blood. I tried to ignore it and went to check on my clothes. Just as I reached for the washer, I heard it click. The dryer door that had been open slowly shut on its own. I froze, turned around fast. No one there. But in the tiny window of the dryer door, I saw a shape. Just for a second. Something dark. Could have been a jacket. Could have been a hand. I took a step back. And then, every single machine turned on. All at once. Dryers. Washers. Lights blinking. Motors groaning. Everything vibrating like they were about to explode. I panicked and ran for the door, but it wouldn't open. The knob turned, but the door felt stuck, like something was pressing hard against the other side. Click. The same dryer door creaked open again. Something began to crawl out. At first, it was just a hand. Long fingers. Pale, dry skin. They gripped the edge of the machine and pulled. Then a face. Except it wasn't a face. There were no eyes. No nose. Just stretched, wrinkled skin where a face should have been. Still, somehow, it was looking at me. It stepped onto the floor, completely silent. But I heard it, not with my ears, inside my head. Each step landed like a pressure wave in my chest. Next thing I remember, I was sitting outside on the back stairs. The cold had soaked into my jeans. I was holding my laundry basket, but everything was wet. I thought maybe I'd blacked out, had a nightmare. But there were 3 red scratches on my hand, and my shirt, 5 perfect pale fingerprints, pressed into the fabric like something had grabbed me. I went back the next day. The laundry room looked normal, except for one thing. That dryer was broken, door jammed shut. Couldn't open it even if you tried. This morning, I saw a new notice on the building bulletin board. Due to multiple reports of strange activity and missing clothing, please be advised that the laundry room is currently under maintenance. Overnight use is not recommended. I'm done with that place. I walk 3 blocks to a 24-hour laundromat now. Even in the snow. Even at night. But never again down those stairs. The room she left behind. I'm not sure if anyone will believe me, but I need to get this off my chest. Last summer, I was on a 3-week business trip to Los Angeles. To save money, I booked a room through a certain home-sharing service. Let's just call it Company X. The place looked decent in the photos. A good location, cheap, and with surprisingly solid reviews. It was an old apartment in a quiet part of town. I got the entry code via email and let myself in using a keypad lock. The moment I stepped in, I noticed this strong scent in the air, like heavy perfume, sweet, floral, almost suffocating. The place looked clean enough. The kitchen was compact but neat. The living room had a small couch and a dusty TV, and the bedroom had a queen-sized bed. Then there was the mirror. It was tall, antique, nailed directly to the wall opposite the bed. The frame was carved wood, worn down at the corners. The carpet right in front of it was slightly discolored, like something had been resting there for a long time. Weird, but I was too tired to care. I crashed hard that night. The weird stuff started the second night. I woke up sometime after 2 a.m. I wasn't sure what woke me. Maybe the heat, maybe a bad dream. But as I turned over in bed, my eyes landed on the mirror. There was someone else in the reflection. A woman, long black hair, white dress. She was facing away from me, standing next to the bed. I jumped up and turned on the light. No one there. I checked the closet, the hallway, the bathroom. Empty. I looked back at the mirror. Only me now. I barely slept after that. The next night, my coworker Mike asked to crash at my place since we had an early meeting the next day. I hesitated, but I said okay. The bed was big enough for two. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to him murmuring in his sleep. "No, don't look. She's there." His eyes were shut tight. He was sweating, shaking. I nudged him awake. He sat up, pale and wide-eyed, and pointed at the mirror. I saw her, in the mirror. She was standing right there. I didn't say anything. I didn't have to. We both knew something was seriously wrong. He slept on the couch after that. The next few nights, more small things happened. I'd find my toothbrush moved. The bathroom light would be on, even though I was sure I turned it off. The perfume smell got stronger, cloying, like it was seeping from the walls. I tried reporting it to the host, but got no reply. I even looked at the old reviews again. Most were 5 stars, but one, buried deep in the history, said, "Couldn't sleep. Felt like someone was watching me." That mirror really gave me the creeps. That review isn't on the listing anymore. I only saw it because I'd opened it before. It was in my browser cache. The night before I left, I was packing my suitcase when I heard a loud crash. I rushed to the bedroom. My suitcase, which had been zipped and standing upright, was now on its side, 2 feet away from where I left it. I slowly looked toward the mirror, and there she was. This time, she was facing me, but she had no face. Where her features should have been was just stretched skin. Still, I could tell. She was looking straight at me. I don't remember grabbing my keys. I just know I ran, barefoot, phone in my hand, and ended up standing in the stairwell, shaking. The next morning, I checked out early and spoke briefly with the building manager, who happened to be around. I asked, "Hey, do you know who used to live in that apartment?" He paused. "Girl in her 20s, lived alone, moved out a couple years ago," he said. Then he shrugged. "Why?" I didn't answer. I still think about that place. I wonder if she's still there, waiting. And if someone else has booked it now, thinking they got a great deal. Maybe they'll notice the perfume first. or the way the mirror is bolted to the wall. If you ever see a listing in LA with glowing reviews and a big antique mirror in the bedroom, don't book it. You might not be alone. The Lost Melody. It had been 3 years since I last heard from Kevin, my best friend from college, when he called me out of the blue. "Can you come out here? I'm working at a recording studio in the woods up in Oregon. Something strange is going on." Kevin had always been into music. He majored in audio engineering and talked about opening his own studio someday. But I'd never heard him mention working in the middle of nowhere. Still, something in his voice felt urgent, so I cleared a weekend and drove up. The GPS led me off the main roads, into an unpaved trail wrapped in dense forest. Finally, I reached a 2-story wooden building surrounded by trees. It looked abandoned, windows covered with thick curtains, the porch creaking under its own weight. When Kevin opened the door, I barely recognized him. Sunken eyes, pale skin, and that jittery energy of someone who hadn't slept in days. "You look like hell," I said. "I haven't been sleeping much," he muttered. "Come on, I need you to hear something." He led me into the studio. The room was packed with modern equipment, but at the center of the soundproofed wall was an ancient reel-to-reel tape recorder. It looked completely out of place. "This thing was already here when I started working," Kevin said. "Tried to get rid of it, but it's jammed into the wall or something." One day, I played the tape, and there was something recorded on it. He hit play. A soft click. Then a melody filled the room, if you could call it a melody. It was a disjointed series of piano notes, played off rhythm, slightly out of tune. The kind of thing that scratched at your nerves without you knowing why. "What is this?" I asked. "I don't know, but the more I listen to it, the more I see things. In my head. Faces. Places I've never been. And when I started re-recording the track, I found something buried in the waveform." He pulled up his audio software and zoomed in on a section of distorted static. The waveform formed a strange, pulsing pattern. "I thought it might be a voice," he said, so I reversed it. He hit play again. This time, the speakers hissed with a low, guttural sound. Not quite words, but human in a way that made my skin crawl, like someone moaning underwater. No language, just pain. Suddenly, the room lights flickered. "Happens a lot now," Kevin said quietly. I stayed in a small guest room that night, next to the studio. But even in bed, that warped melody played on a loop in my mind. Those erratic piano notes, the moaning. Near dawn, I heard it again. The piano. Software slow, deliberate. Then footsteps. Not loud, but enough to make the floor creak, stopping right outside my door. I held my breath. The air felt thick. Then a soft scraping. Not knocking. Something, or someone, was dragging its nails along the door. I sat up in bed, heart pounding. After what felt like forever, I opened the door. No one was there. I ran to Kevin's room. He was awake, staring at his screen. "You heard it too," he whispered. "I recorded it," he said, hitting play again. The piano was clearer now, more structured. It was like the melody had evolved. "Do you think," Kevin said, voice trembling, "that something's trying to finish the song through us?" The next morning, I left. A few weeks later, Kevin disappeared. When they sent a search team to the studio, they found the building empty. No sign of Kevin. Just the tape recorder, still running. playing the same melody. Only this time, the melody had grown, and someone else was still recording.